All right, let's jump into it today. We're looking at some expressions from Andalusia in Spain.
Wonderful.
And specifically, we're going to be focusing on colloquialisms.
Okay.
So you know those little sayings that you don't really find in textbooks
Right.
and that you might hear people saying out in the world.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to be using a video by Jaime Lara, who is a Spanish teacher on YouTube.
Right.
And we're going to be diving into his video where he talks about 9 different expressions.
9 wonderful expressions. 9.
9 expressions. And I think what's really cool about these expressions is that they really give us a window into
I think so too.
Andalusian culture and history.
Yeah, they're not just words, right? They're like little pieces of their identity and their background.
Yeah, and Himi even highlights that sometimes they're grammatically incorrect.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody uses them anyway.
That's how language works.
Exactly. It's a living, breathing thing.
It changes, adapts, it evolves.
So our first expression is dar coraje.
Ooh, dar coraje, which means to cause anger, frustration, or annoyance.
So if somebody is really getting on your nerves, you could say they're bando coraje.
Exactly. Precisely. That's a perfect way to use it. And, in the video, Jaime uses the example of, like, someone not doing the dishes.
Okay.
And it's just like, oh, you're giving me coraje. But it can apply to any situation where someone's really getting under your skin.
Gotcha. Okay, so that one's going in my back pocket. I like that one a lot, dar coraje.
Yeah, write it down.
Now this one's interesting. Quedar or estar niquelado.
Ooh. Now, this one is all about perfection. When something is just perfectly done, it's as if it's been nickel-plated.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, niquelado. So it's like everything is in its right place. It's polished to a shine.
Yeah, I see it. And is that kind of like saying something is todo guapo?
Todo guapo. Exactly. Like, totally good looking.
I like these visuals.
Yeah.
Now this one I thought was interesting because Jaime mentioned that it's not even in the dictionary.
I know, right?
Hacer pelua.
Hacer pelua, which means it is very cold, and the fact that it's not even in the dictionary makes it even better, in my opinion.
I know. It's like
it's slang on top of slang.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like, we who know.
Yeah. And so the synonym for this is hasaraska.
Hasaraska, that's right.
Yeah.
So both of them kind of evoke this feeling of, like, harsh, biting cold, the kind that chills you to the bone.
Right. And it's interesting, too, because language reflects the place that it's from.
Yeah, for sure.
So these words, kind of hint at the fact that sometimes it gets very cold in Andalusia.
Yeah. Yeah, they have some pretty harsh winters in some parts.
Okay. Hacer pelua, so hasaraska. I like those a lot.
Good ones.
All right. So now we have 3 different expressions that mean the same thing to play dumb.
Yes.
Hacerse el longi. Hacerse el sueco, hacerse el loco. So why so many different ways to say this?
Why so many? Well, it's like having different shades of meaning for a single color, So longi suggests, like, distance or aloofness, whereas sueco literally means Swedish. And there's a fun little story behind that we'll talk about later.
Interesting.
And then loco is more like feigning craziness. So, like, you're purposely acting crazy to play dumb.
Oh, so it's like almost like 3 different levels of playing dumb?
Yes, different shades.
Okay, gotcha. Now, I am intrigued about the Swedish connection.
Oh, we too. We'll get there.
We'll have to get there. But our next one is dar pal pelo or para el pelo, and this one has a double meaning.
Double meaning. Oh, yes, this one is good. It can mean to physically hit someone or to completely defeat them in a challenge, like you wipe the floor with them.
So, like, I'm picturing a boxing match.
Yes. Perfect example.
Dar pal pelo.
Yeah, you're giving it to them.
Yeah, so context is key here.
Context is everything with these colloquialisms. You got to pay attention to the situation to know what's going on.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to be talking about a boxing match and think that somebody's getting their hair brushed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, think about, Pacquiao versus Mayweather, whoever won that fight. Dio pal pelo to the other one.
I like it.
Good one.
I like it. And speaking of competition, this next expression, ser un convenio or convenido.
Ah, yes.
I think that applies to a certain type of competitor.
This one describes someone who acts solely out of self-interest. What's in it for me?
Right.
That kind of person.
Yeah.
And it's often shortened in spoken Andalusian Spanish, so you might just hear convenio instead of convenido.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And Jaime tells this funny story about a childhood friend who was only nice to him when it was convenient for him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was a classic convenido.
Classic convenido. Love that.
That's a good one.
Now we have darse una pechada de algo.
Okay.
This one sounds
Sounds intense.
a little intense.
Yeah, it's like you've done a lot of something so much that you feel full or exhausted.
Okay.
Like you've taken a chestful pichada of whatever it is.
Okay, so like I'm at a buffet.
Perfect example.
I eat way too much food. I could say di una pichada of food.
Di una pichada of all that delicious food.
Or I could say I di una pichada of studying for this exam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just full of knowledge you can't take anymore.
I like it, all right.
Yeah.
I'm liking these.
Me too.
So now we've got another one that's not in the dictionary.
I know another unofficial word, daru.
Daru. And this one, it's funny because when I hear this, I just picture like a little kid, you know,
Right.
making a face like,
Yeah, it's like, you gross.
yeah. So what does this one mean?
So it can be used to describe feelings of fear, disgust, discomfort, even fainting.
Oh, wow. So it's like a catch-all for anything that makes you feel uneasy.
Exactly. Anything that makes you go, you. And, Jaime even breaks it down further. Like you might feel you before doing something scary like canyoning.
Right.
Or at the sight of something disgusting like blood.
Ooh, yeah.
Or even if you're about to faint, like a soccer player who's just taken a bad fall.
Okay.
So it's all about those visceral reactions.
Yeah, it makes me think that this must be something that people all over the world feel, you know.
It's a universal feeling.
Even if they don't have a word for it.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so our final expression.
For now,
No ni nada.
no ni nada. The joya de la corona, Jaime calls it.
A crown jewel.
The crown jewel of Andalusian expressions.
Okay, I am all ears. Tell me why this one is the crown jewel.
Well, imagine a triple negative that actually expresses a strong affirmative.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like saying yes, absolutely, with like an extra dose of emphasis and defiance.
Okay, I'm going to need a little more help here.
All right, let's break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so no ni nada. It's a shortened form of no ni nada,
Okay.
which literally translates to like not even anything,
Okay.
but it's used to express strong agreement or disagreement, usually with like a little touch of defiance.
So it's kind of like you're telling somebody that they're wrong, and you're going to emphasize how wrong they are by adding 3 negatives into it.
Exactly, and Jaime gives 2 great examples in his video. The first one, imagine someone's accusing you of not finishing your homework.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, no ni nada.
Oh.
It's like, you're not just saying like, yeah, I did it. It's like, no, you're wrong. I did it.
It's like you're really shutting them down.
You're shutting it down.
I like it.
Yeah.
So that's for disagreement. How about agreement?
For agreement, he uses the example of, no ni nada, voy a mover la playa.
So that's like, absolutely, I'm going to the beach.
Yes, exactly. And again, it's not just a casual, yes, it's like a declaration of your unwavering intention.
It's like you're daring someone to try and stop you.
Nothing's going to stop me from going to the beach.
I like it.
Yeah.
No ni nada. That one's going in the back pocket, too.
It's a good one, right?
I think so.
It really embodies that Andalusian spirit. You know, they're very passionate people. They're very expressive. And this just comes out in their language.
You know, it's funny because you learn these expressions and it really makes you want to, you know, not just speak Spanish correctly, but, you know.
With that feeling, with that soul.
Yeah, you want to have that.
You want to embody it.
Yeah.
That's the magic of colloquialisms.
Yeah.
I think they go beyond textbook grammar and vocabulary, and they give you an insight into like the spirit of the language and its speakers.
Right. And it makes you realize that, you know, learning a language is about so much more than just memorizing words. It's really about absorbing a culture, understanding its nuances, and, you know, even maybe adopting a little bit of its personality.
Absolutely. And it's about recognizing that language is constantly evolving, right? Like these colloquialisms, even the ones that are grammatically incorrect, they're a testament to that. They're a reminder that language is a living thing and it's shaped by the people who use it.
You know, and it's important, I think, to reiterate what Jaime said in the video. You know, these expressions are for spoken Spanish, not formal writing.
Right. It's like having different sets of clothes for different occasions.
Exactly. You wouldn't show up to a business meeting in a swimsuit.
Yeah.
Just like you wouldn't use, you know, no ni nada in a business email. Exactly. But in casual conversations, using these expressions can show that you're not just a language learner. You're someone who like appreciates the nuances and the richness of the language. It's like having a secret handshake with native speakers.
I like that secret handshake. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So I think for any of our listeners out there who are, you know, thinking about learning a new language or even just continuing to learn Spanish, you know, don't be afraid to dive into those colloquialisms.
They're a treasure trove of cultural insights, and they add so much color and personality to your language skills.
And they might even make you feel a little bit more connected to the people and the places where those languages are spoken.
I think so, too, because at the end of the day, language is all about connection, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. So speaking of connection, you know, we talked about hacerse el sueco earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And it means to play dumb, but Why the Swede? Like, is there a story behind that?
There is. It's thought to stem from a time when Sweden was like relatively unknown to many Spaniards.
So to play the Swede was basically like pretending to be from a distant, unfamiliar land, and you're feigning ignorance of the local customs or language.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Right. It's like a little historical tidbit.
It really makes you wonder how many other expressions have like, these interesting little backstories.
I know, right? It's like a little treasure hunt.
Yeah, just waiting to be uncovered. And I think, that's part of what makes learning languages so rewarding. It's like you're peeling back the layers of an onion.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
And you're discovering these new depths and complexities and, with each expression that you learn.
Yeah, it's a journey of continuous discovery.
Yeah. So for our listener, what's something that you can take away from this deep dive into Andalusian expressions?
Well, I think it's more than just a list of words and their meanings. It's a glimpse into the heart of Andalusian culture.
Right. Like we've been given a key
The key.
to unlock, this code.
Yeah, a secret
The
code.
secret code of Andalusia.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's a way to understand the humor, the passion, the directness of the Andalusian people.
Absolutely. And even if you never traveled to Andalusia,
Yeah.
learning these expressions can enrich your understanding of Spanish as a whole.
Right.
It's a reminder that there's so much diversity within languages and how they evolve and adapt to reflect different regions and cultures.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about how I can sprinkle some of these into my conversations.
I love that.
Maybe I'll try the no ni nada next time I'm feeling extra determined about something.
You should go for it. Embrace that Andalusian spirit.
And you know what? If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. It's all part of the process.
Absolutely. Language learning is a journey.
Yeah.
And the stumbles are all part of the fun.
And sometimes those stumbles lead to some pretty memorable learning experiences.
I agree.
And you know what? You never know. You might even inspire somebody else to start, exploring
It's true.
these hidden gems of language and culture.
Yeah. Share that passion for language.
Exactly. All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought that you would leave our listener with?
One final thought, I would say. Think about your own language and culture.
Okay.
What are some colloquialisms that you would share with someone who's learning your language? What expressions capture the essence of who you are and where you come from?
That is a great question. And it really makes you think that, we all have these little joya de la corona, these special words and phrases that hold, such deep meaning and connection.
Absolutely. They're like little treasures.
They are.
And maybe, just maybe, by sharing those treasures, we can build bridges of understanding and appreciation across languages and cultures.
I think so, too. That's beautifully said. And on that note, we'll say hasta luego.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of language. Yeah, it's like we've almost been given the secret, decoder ring
Yeah.
to understand these people.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Like you can unlock their humor and their passion and their directness
Yeah.
just through these expressions.
Yeah, and even if you never traveled to Andalusia,
Right.
just learning these expressions can really, I think, improve your understanding of Spanish as a whole.
Yeah, it shows you how much diversity there is within languages and how they evolve and adapt, to match the different places and cultures where they're spoken.
Yeah, I'm already trying to think of, how I can work these into conversation.
Me too.
Maybe I'll try no ni nada next time I'm feeling really strongly about something.
I think you should go for it.
Yeah.
Embrace that Andalusian spirit.
And if I make a mistake, I make a mistake.
That's all right.
It's all part of the process.
Exactly. It's all part of the journey. And sometimes those mistakes make the best stories later.
Yeah, and you know what? You never know. You might inspire somebody else
That's true.
to start exploring these hidden gems of language.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought that you want to leave our listener with?
One final thought. I'd say think about your own language and your own culture. What are some colloquialisms that you would want to share with someone who is learning your language? What expressions capture, who you are and where you come from?
That's such a good question to think about, and it makes me realize that we all have these special words and phrases, that hold so much meaning.
You do. They're like little treasures that we carry with us.
Yeah, and maybe by sharing those treasures,
Right.
We can all learn to understand each other a little bit better.
I think so too. It's all about building bridges and connecting with each other.
That's beautifully said. And on that note, we'll say hasta luego.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of language.